How to beat Mario with your eyes closed. All right, there are four main principles. One is jumping and moving along with the music. So we'll talk about tempo and time signature and everything we need in order to count all the pieces of music that we'll hear throughout the run. Two is sound cues and visualization. So using all the sound effects throughout the game to help us figure out where we are and what's going on around us and form a mental picture of what's happening in the game. Three is memorization, memorizing everything that we'll be encountering in each level in order, memorizing the order of the 8 levels and the order of the 5 rooms in the last level, everything like that. And 4 is short-term memory and focus. So this involves keeping track of how many enemies you've killed versus how many might be left in a certain part of the level. Keeping track of if a piranha flower is still alive inside of a pipe or if you've killed them already, things like that. And also paying attention in between levels during the level transitions, knowing what level's coming up next, knowing what your first move is for that level. All that is involved. So those are the main principles. A couple of overall notes before we get into each level. One, the strats that we're going to talk about for each level are definitely subject to change. This is pretty much just what I do now based on stuff I came up with and things I've seen people doing online. So it's by no means like the ultimate or final way to do it. This is definitely a work in progress. There are only 2 completed runs so far, so tremendous room for improvement, optimization, new strats, everything like that. So I'm hoping this video gets outdated really soon and we have lots of completed runs and new consistent ways of doing this. I think that would be a good direction for this to go. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what comes up in the near future in this category. So next is that muscle memory eventually supersedes all the strats that we'll talk about. So you'll start to see this like in the first level in 1-1. Like you, after a while, won't even really need the audio at all. Like just the feeling of the controller in your hands and your own internal sense of timing will be enough to get you to the end of the level. And the more popular this category gets, the more we'll see that we approach our theoretical limit, which is just doing any percent with your eyes closed, right? Like anything you can input with your eyes open, you can just do the same thing with your eyes closed, right? The difference is you won't have the feedback from the game to know what patterns you're getting, so it requires playing perfectly to the frame rule and everything like that. I'm not going to get too into any percent stuff. If you want to just learn how to play the game fast, check out the tutorials by Cosmic or by Darbian. If you just want to learn all the tricks involved in saving time in this game. Because as it gets more popular, all those things will come into play. Every way that you can save time eventually will become a factor in this category. So, yeah, things to keep in mind as this grows. In my opinion, finding the more consistent ways to do this is the most fun. As far as a community effort, I think if we can find a way where like anybody can do this in a certain amount of time, like a really consistent way to set up every part of the game, I think that's a much more fun puzzle to work on than anything else. So try it out for yourself. Tell your friends. This is not Fight Club. You can talk about it as much as you want. Definitely encourage people to find strats and help build the community. So yeah, join us in what we're doing. Hit us up on Discord, Twitch, YouTube, and anywhere, you know the drill. And yeah, let's make this a fun, active category with lots of completed runs. And last in our notes is backup strats. I don't really have any. If I take a hit, if I lose firepower, if I fall in a pit and die, I'm just going to reset. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to. There are a lot of ways to play this game. This is definitely not the be-all, end-all of strats. So you may come up with a way where you can tolerate getting a hit. There are power-ups throughout the game that you can get and get firepower back, or figure out strats to play certain sections as small Mario. So up to you. Plenty of options for ways to improve this category and come up with new ways of doing things. So definitely encourage people to do that. All right, so I'm going to spend some time talking about musical notation and how I've written down the rhythms in this document. So basically, as you go through here, I'll include a link to this in the description. This is like the checklist, the document I've put together of every level of everything we're going to be doing throughout the run. So as you look through here, you'll see the rhythms are notated like bar 1, beat 1 and, or something like bar 2, beat 1 and, bar 2, beat 3, things like that, right? So what does that all mean? Why are we doing that? So basically, in my opinion, if we're going to build a category around playing blindfolded, it would be very helpful to have common and consistent vocabulary for how we notate rhythms and how we tell each other when to jump, right? So I'm a musician. I practice playing drums with a metronome. Same principle as what we're doing here. So coming from music where there's already a whole lexicon, a whole vocabulary of ways to talk about rhythm in a precise and unambiguous way, carried that over into here for ways for us to talk about rhythms and when exactly we're going to jump and move and do all the tricks to get through this run. Okay, right from the top here, if we look at our first example, the main theme, the overworld theme, this is the song that we'll hear the most throughout the run, and we have a certain way of counting it here. So this is 4/4, 100 BPM, and we're going to be counting double time at 200 BPM, and the pickup is before bar 1. So what does all of that mean? Okay, a couple musical terms in here. 1 BPM, that's beats per minute. That's how fast or slow the music is. Basically, how far apart the different pulses in the music are. So the pulses, the beat, when we talk about that, we're talking about the groupings in the song, or I guess I should say, we're talking about the internal pulse of the music. There's not too much I can do to lower that down and simplify it. You just kind of have to feel where the beats are in each song. And we'll also talk about where exactly they fall for each example. But essentially, we're feeling the beats of the music and then listening to the way the song goes to figure out the groupings of the bars and the time signature of the song, right? So time signature is going to tell you how many beats are in each bar. So if we look at our songs here, we have a couple different ones. The main theme is in 4/4. The underground theme is in 6/4. The water theme is in 3/4. So this tells you how many beats are in each grouping, each bar, which will give you an indication as to when the musical phrases will start and end. For example, the overworld theme, the phrases are in groups of 4 beats, like bam 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 bam, 4 beats. Next phrase, bam 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 bam, another 4 beats, right? Compare that to the water theme where everything is in 3. Bum 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 2 3 1 2 3 bum 2 3 bum 2 3, right? So different ways of grouping beats into a time signature. So we'll see some variation in the songs that we'll hear in the run. And a couple more notes on musical notation. So when you hear me counting, sometimes I will count beat 1 as the bar number, and sometimes I'll just say 1. So in other words, the difference between saying 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, or sometimes I'll say 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4 3 2 3 4. So if I say 2 2, that might be confusing, but that will let you know I'm talking about the downbeat of bar 2 and then beat 2 of bar 2. So that's something that you'll sometimes hear me do as we go through each example here. Just something to keep in mind, 2 sort of different ways to count out the same thing. And lastly, as far as the notation, I consider 2 of the songs to have pickups that come before bar 1. So, for example, if we look at our checklist for level 4-1, you see I have the pickup in parentheses here. So in my notation, parentheses means you rest, you don't do anything, or you continue running, whatever you were doing. There's no jumps. So here, a pickup is in parentheses. So, and you'll notice that the next thing is bar 1. So in my notation, I don't consider the pickup to be the first bar of the music. So in the case of the overworld theme, that's ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum. I would consider that to be like bar 0. And then the first bar of the music is bum 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 ba-dum. So that is something to keep in mind when reading this notation, that the first thing that you hear in the song is not considered to be bar 1 in my notation. Similar with the water theme, that starts with a little intro. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-bum. So I would consider that to be the pickup of the water theme, and actually the beginning of that piece of music is dun dun dun. That would be bar one. So sort of my little idiosyncrasy to the notation there. So the other thing that is a little bit different is that some songs are counted at double time and some songs are counted at half time. So the reason I've decided to count some songs at double or half BPM is to make it more consistent in terms of where we have to put our jumps. So just to give you a quick example, right? So in the overworld theme, musically, that's really 100 BPM. With this pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a nice medium tempo song. But for our purposes, that click would be a little too slow for what we need to count. So it will actually make it easier for us if we count this at 200 BPM, which would sound something like this. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the reason we do that is that when it comes time to notate where we're going to jump, it's much easier to just say that it's either on the beat or on an and, halfway in between the beat. That's a lot cleaner than saying like, okay, it's the fourth subdivision of beat 2 or the third subdivision of beat 3 or something like that. It's definitely easier to just say the and of 2 or it's on 3 or something like that. So only dividing the beat into two parts. So it's either on the beat or halfway between it. In musical terms, we're just counting eighth notes, if you're familiar with that. To make an analogy, that would be like the clock on the wall that's telling time. Instead of ticking 60 times per minute, once per second, imagine a clock that gave you 120 half seconds, right? Ticking twice as often, but keeping time exactly the same, right? It's just more precise, just moving twice as often to get you to the same place. So easier to get synchronized with. And then also the opposite is true for really fast music. Like, so when you have 100 seconds left on the clock, the music will triple in tempo. Sounds like when the time is running out, the system just plays the song faster. So essentially, it would be too quick to count at 300 BPM. It's harder to get in sync with that than it is to get in sync with 150. So in that case, we're actually counting slower when the music speeds up for the purposes of having a tempo that when you count at that time signature, your jumps are notated the way they are, you'll end up jumping in the right spot as opposed to having to count frantically and lose track of where you are. Okay, so I will go through each piece of music and show you the tempo and the time signature. So overworld theme we've done. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we talk about counting those bars, I'll give you an example of the very first jump of the game, right? So the opening pick up bar 2, beat 1 and. So that would look something like this. 2, 3, 4, 1 and. Right. So you notice I didn't count beat 1. I just let the music play beat 1 and then I joined in on beat 2. That's a little easier than trying to start at the exact same time that the music starts. So that'll come up a couple of other times in the run as well. Okay, so that's the overworld theme. The next piece of music that we'll hear is the underground theme, which is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So the underground theme is in 6/4 at 200 BPM. So you'll see we'll increase the number of beats in the bar from 4 to 6, but it's the same tempo as the overworld theme. So that's like this. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Right. Most of the time when this song is performed, and even in other video games, like in the Super Mario All-Stars version of this game, That song is played in 4/4, like da na 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 na, da na 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 na, 3 and 4, right? However, here in the original version, it's in 6. Ba-na-na-na-na, 4, 5, 6. Ba-na-na-na-na, 4, 5, 6. So that we count exactly as it is musically. There's no halftime or double time or any special tricks like that for that one. Okay, the next two are counted exactly the same way. They're both 150 BPM in 4/4. And that's the invincibility theme and the time running out theme. So we hear this. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not too complex. And the time running out theme is the same. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1. Okay, so not too much complexity there. The castle theme is very fast. So you might consider the pulse of this to be 360 beats per minute, like an extremely fast song. And then you can say, I think for this, it makes most sense to count it at 180 beats per minute, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This song can be pretty tricky to count because of the frantic nature of those high notes there. But if you clue yourself into the bass, the bum, 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 that's much easier to follow along with if you listen into that. So that can be a little easier to go with than those really fast notes that are happening. So something to keep in mind when you're getting in sync with this song. The last one is the water theme. A nice relaxed waltz. So here, this is 225 BPM. And musically, this is in 3/4, as we talked about before. But I like to actually count this in 6/4 to give a little variation to what we're going to be memorizing as far as the beats. So that instead of everything being on a 1 or a 2 or a 3, you'll have some jumps that are on a beat 6 or a beat 4 or something like that. So it just gives a little more variation and not having everything fall on the same number. Okay, so that is everything I wanted to tell you about counting and notating the music. This is definitely not the only way to do it. If this is confusing for you, the music theory stuff, feel free to come up with your own way to notate and talk about these rhythms. This is just what I know from being a musician. So there are definitely other ways to do it. Yeah, so now we are ready to move on to each level. So starting in 1/1, if we look through our checklist, we'll see everything we have to do here. So if there is a section where we're going to be jumping along with the music, I'll put that in here with a music note next to it in caps, and those parts are indented so they kind of stick out. But if we look overall for 1/1, we are going to be starting with the opening Goomba, which is a musical jump, and then lining up with the pipe and the edge of the screen before getting the mushroom, and then jumping over 3 pipes and entering the 4th one. So then we'll do the underground section, and then get out of the pipe and do the stairs. So memorizing what we have to do for every level, that's one of our main principles we talked about. It might seem confusing when there's no image, paired up with it when we're just reading the text. But as you go through and play the game, you'll start to have mental images associated with these things, and it'll start to flow a lot easier when you're going through it. So I'll reset the game. We'll start from the very top and look at what that's like. Okay, so our first jump, bar 2, beat 1 end. 2, 3, 4, 1 end. Now we just run all the way to the right, and no matter what, as long as you don't jump a second time, after killing the Goomba, you'll line up with this pipe, at which point you run left to get the mushroom. You can try to jump on your way there, feel it out with muscle memory, and then you'll hear it come out with that noise, and then you just run to the right and wait for it to hit you. A little bit of a safer way to do it. You just go all the way to the left and then inch right about 3 times. You'll hear it. And let it hit you. One thing I like to do is buffer the inputs after the power-up hits me. So here, just start pressing A, B, and right. And then you'll immediately start jumping and running as soon as the power-up is complete. At that point, you're going to be jumping over these 3 pipes and going into the 4th one. Sometimes there is a Goomba here that can kill you. And you can either just take it and reset because it's so early in the run, or you can come up with a way to do the full jump over the pipe like that. Get on top of the 2nd one and go completely over the pit to the 3rd one. That'll keep you safe from that Goomba. It's a little more precise. And in this level, you don't have the firepower yet, so it's very much muscle memory, trusting your instincts kind of level. So, yeah, something you'll want to just go through and do by feel. When you're up against this pipe, you just leave yourself enough time to get till you know you've gotten there. There's no real way to check that you've actually gotten on top of the pipe or that you've gotten against it. It's something that will just eventually become part of your muscle memory. But once we are up against the pipe, we'll want to get on top of it and then just right down until you get in it. So again, letting the mushroom hit you, buffering the inputs, over the 1st one, over the 2nd one, over the 3rd one, into the 4th. So once you get up against this 4th pipe, this one, you will possibly go over and then try to enter the pipe for a while, and you're not getting in it. If you've been pushing right and down for a while, you've most likely jumped over the pipe, or you never got above it, and you're doing this. So one thing you can do if that is happening, to normalize this, you might be in one of these 2 positions, but if you jump, do some running, and then turn around left, you'll be up against this pipe regardless of which of those 2 positions you started in. And as long as you don't run too far to the right to unload the pipe, you'll end up back where you want to be. And make sure if you are doing that here, don't wait too much time, as you can end up getting hit by those. So you can normalize that with a motion like that. And if you're sure that you did go over the pipe and there's no way you didn't clear it, then you can just run left, and you know you'll be there, and then just repeat the same process, approaching it from the right. Okay, so the underground section. The easiest way to do this is to just walk and do 1 jump and then walk into the pipe. That will guarantee that you don't end up on top of the pipe. The more you press B to run in here, the more likelihood there is of ending up in that spot. And then if you do that, you'll end up having to like backtrack and feel your way into the pipe, which is annoying and waste time. So what I like to do is run for the first jump, and then do like a walking jump, which I did a little too late there. Right, which allows you to run for the first half and then slow down enough to get into the pipe. The limit here would be doing the any percent strategy, like the perfect 380 underground from any percent, which involves like pressing A, or starting running when he's about halfway to the ground and things like that I won't explain here. But you can find what works best for you somewhere between just walking through it and doing the perfect any percent underground, whatever you like best. This is my rhythm that I have for the first jump. It's definitely not the most optimal. So feel free to use that or come up with your own or whatever you want. And that goes for all the strategies here, really. Okay, so once you are out of the underground, there's a couple ways you can do it. So the safe way is to wait for the pickup to be over and then just do low note, high note. So that's walking on beat 1 and then jumping on bar 2, beat 3. And this is after the pickup is finished. Remember, those first 2 bars are considered to be before the music begins, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. Oops, is that a little late? 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Like low note, high note. Low note, high note. This is actually wrong. It's supposed to be bar 1, Is it? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. So it can actually be done a little earlier than what I have in here. Probably a quarter note earlier. But if you're doing the safe strat, you're just trying to get over the Goombas and not get hit by them and get to the next level. Once you're over them, you can just run and jump and press A to the right. B right and A, and you'll just sprint up the stairs and you'll get to the flagpole no matter what. If you want to do it in a faster way, the fast way is just to wait after the pickup's over, an eighth note after that. So bar 1 on the end of 1. 3, 4, 1 end. So a little bit late the first time. 2, 3, 4, 1 end. A little bit early that time. See, that's a tighter window. So I did the safe strat in my run, but you may come up with a more consistent way to do that. 2, 3, 4, 1 in. And then at that point, you'll want to, you may want to work in an optimal staircase. If you can get up here without slowing down and hit the very top of the flagpole, you'll save a nice little chunk of time doing that. I haven't included that in my run, but it's definitely something that can save time if you can figure out a way to get Mario all the way to the top of the flagpole. You see when you do that, he jumps off the flag and he gets into the castle a little earlier, but it's definitely not a requirement at this early stage, so up to you if you want to figure out a way to do that in your runs. But yeah, that's it for 1-1. Not too bad. Like I said, heavily going to be muscle memory based as you go through it, and kind of tricky because you don't have the fire flower yet, but definitely not the worst level. Okay, so now we are in 1-2. So underground theme, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. New piece of music, and 2 strats for our opening jump here. So a faster way that I like to do while walking is doing a jump on bar 2 on the end of 1, and then it's a little bit of a swing rhythm. So what I mean by that, I won't explain exactly what swing is in musical terms, but basically it just means we're going to be doing it a little late, a little after the end of 1 really is. So that jump looks a little something like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 in. One more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 in. And there I stomped on both Goombas. The other way to do it, if that's safer, is just to wait a little bit for them to get away from those coin blocks, where it's a lot easier to jump on them. And at that point, it's just walking on beat 1 of bar 3 and jumping on beat 4. So waiting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 3, 4. Easy enough. Then they'll be away from the coin blocks. They'll be easier to get height and stomp on them without getting hurt yourself. So either way, and so another thing about that is that if you run, it can sometimes be trickier because unless you kill both of them, you'll have to wait or go back and kill the second one before running to get the fire flower. So you may not want to do that because if you are in a position where you only kill 1 Goomba, you might not really know, or that might happen. There's not really a difference in the sound between the double kill and the single kill. So if you end up hitting the back one, you might not know that has happened, and then you might run into him when you're going to get the flower. So running can be a little more dangerous, so something to keep in mind while you're doing that. But essentially, yeah, after we do our opening jump, if it's safe or if it's fast, we're going to be getting the fire flower and then getting into our position for our next jump. So once you're over the Goombas, you run all the way to the right, just like we did in 1-1. So you'll hit your limit here, go all the way to the left, inch right a couple times, you'll get the flower. And same principle where you could do it running on the way, save yourself a little time. Okay, next I call this living in 2 realities because there are 2 different things that might happen. So sometimes you'll get the flower and then you'll touch it and fall right back down to the ground. And sometimes you'll get it and you'll end up on top of the coin blocks. which I can demonstrate if there's a little more space there. But essentially, depending on how far the screen is scrolled, you might end up here or on the floor. But it doesn't really matter because our next thing is to do these 2 jumps that merge the timeline. So whether you're on top of the coin blocks or you're below them, if you run all the way to the right and then do 1 full jump and then another, you'll be here regardless of where you started. So that's what I call that merging the timelines. So you'll be essentially normalizing your position and getting exactly where you want to be. So now that I have the fire flower, let's talk a little bit about how we'll use that to determine our position. So there are 2 sound effects associated with the firepower. There's a clucking sound when Mario actually releases it, and there's an explosion sound when it hits into something. So you can hear the 2 of them here. It's like cluck, boom, cluck, boom. And as you get closer to an object, those 2 sounds get closer together. Cluck, boom, cluck, boom, right? And when you're all the way up against an object, there are only explosions. You don't hear the cluck sound at all. And similarly, if you're up against the part of the screen where there's nothing in front of you, if you're on the left side or on the right side without anything loaded in, the fireballs will unload immediately. So you only hear the clucking sound and no explosion sound. So a couple ways to use those to figure out where we are. You can hear a very subtle difference here with no clucking sound against this wall, and then when we turn left, there can be a very subtle one. So little things to clue into while you're playing. So now that we're here, we're going to be doing a pillar jump. So this is our first backwards jump in my strategy here. So backwards jumps are a little different than forwards jumps. 2 different mechanics here for the way that Mario jumps. So if you jump and you're facing forward, for example, if you're running and you jump, you'll see that Mario continues to run even after I took my hand off the controller. So his momentum carries him. If you are facing backwards, you'll see his momentum stops pretty much immediately. He skids to a halt. So that's one difference. The other difference is that he actually accelerates faster when he's facing backwards for some reason. Then if he's facing forward, it's not as fast. So the arbitrary differences between those 2 things will determine which one we use. In this case, we're using the backwards jump to get enough speed to get off that. Yeah, pretty much 2 different ways of getting into precise positions that we'll be using. Okay, so after we have merged the 2 timelines, we check that we're up against this pillar, we turn around left, and we're getting ready to do the pillar jump. So facing left, we hold B before we even do the jump. This way we start running right away. And then we wait for a beat 1 and jump on beat 1 and then wait till the end of 4. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Right? So, yeah, once we get over the pillar, we fire 2 fireballs right away to kill the Koopas. There's a quirk of this game where if you press A right above a pit here, you just won't jump. Let's see, I can't demonstrate it. Of course, tutorial luck, I can't do it when I want to. But basically, if you press A to jump and Mario's over this pit, he just won't. But you still have enough momentum to keep running straight. So you might run into this pit and either stomp on the Goomba or get hit by him or just end up running up against this wall. And you want to get out of there right away. And then continue to shoot your 2 fireballs if that does happen. So yeah, if the jump gets eaten or if you just do it too late, you'll end up falling into this pit. And sometimes you'll be successful. You can just jump right out and continue. And sometimes he'll take the firepower and that's a reset. So something to keep in mind when you're developing your internal sense of timing for this is to avoid getting that glitch happening. Okay, so yeah, once we kill these 2 Koopas, we keep going right. We keep shooting fireballs. We pretty much only need to kill 2 out of those 3 enemies because we'll be up here by the time the other Goomba gets to us. If you're worried about going fast enough, you can just kill all 3 enemies and then you'll have plenty more time to go. Okay, so we'll have the enemies dead, and then we need to get to the ceiling. So for that, we break 3 blocks, jump to the right, break 2 blocks, jump to the left, break the ceiling, and go up into the ceiling and all the way left. In terms of sound effect cues, if you break 3 blocks and then you jump to the right, but you don't go enough, you run the risk of breaking one of these blocks again. So you'll know that you messed that up if you don't hear the boing jump sound like that. That's what we do want to hear. And if we didn't go far enough, we just won't hear that. It'll be something like that. So we want to make sure when we get on top of this block that we're far enough to the right to avoid doing that. You may want to even add a couple extra presses to cheat. And then break 2, backwards jump, break 1, backwards jump, and run. So yeah, that's how we'll get to the ceiling, and then we just line up with the left side of the screen, and then we're ready to do our ceiling run. This is a decently tricky set of jumps. We got 3 total jumps, 1 in bar 6 and 2 in bar 7. That's after like a good stretch of silence that we just have to count. Probably the longest stretch of silence where we're counting and just running in the whole run. So it can be a little bit tricky. Again, we're going to hold B before we even start. This way we start running right away when we hit right. And we're not going to come in on the downbeat because there are such big stretches of silence in this song. We'll wait for beat 2 to start actually pressing right and running. This way we avoid any inaccuracies there. Okay, so yeah, I'll see if I can leave this whole thing on the screen. Good. Okay. Okay, so that whole thing looks like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. 7, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay, so those are the 3 jumps for the ceiling jump. And generally speaking, when we have precise jumps, you might want to start thinking about when you release A also, like before you do a jump, how long are you going to let go of A before you do it, or before the next jump? How long is A going to be pressed versus released? I didn't include that in the notation here. I've had pretty much success without doing that. For the staircases and for some other difficult sections, I do have that. So another thing to keep in mind when you're making your own strategies is that you may want to include that too. Okay, so once we're past the ceiling, we're going to just spam fireballs until we hear this, and we know we're all the way up against that wall. A couple indications that you might have failed that is if, like, you hear the explosion sound, like, way too early, like before you've had enough time to go all this distance. You might say to yourself, it seems a little early to be hearing that explosion sound. That might most likely would mean you failed one of the earlier jumps and ended up here and jumped onto there. Another indication that you failed this is obviously the death sound, or if you ended up failing the 3rd jump, sometimes this can happen too, where you run right into this warp pipe and you go to this part of the level that I've never seen before. So you want to avoid all those things and just get yourself to the right side of the ceiling. So I'll demonstrate that one more time. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. 7, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. So now we feel our way. We didn't hear an explosion, so we knew we were on top of the ceiling. Now we hear that, so we know we're all the way against the furthest wall. And then from there, we just feel our way into the 3rd warp pipe. So same principle as finding the wall. You wait until you hear that constant explosion. Turn left, hear it again, again in the 4th. If you get lost down here, just do a bunch of jumps to the left, bunch of full jumps, and then eventually you'll know you're up against this wall. And then just creep your way right into the pipe number 4. All right. So yeah, that's it for level 2. Our next level is 4-1. This is a pretty simple level. I think this is pretty much designed to be sprinted by Nintendo. It has a very nice flow to it, and not a lot of things to slow you down. So there are kind of three main approaches to this level, based on how you deal with the piranhas that will always be out of the pipe when you arrive at them. So my safe strat here involves just brushing up against the pipe, waiting for them to unload, and then jumping over them. The middle difficulty sort of trade-off between speed and safety is to jump up and shoot them with your fireballs. And what I don't have notated here would be the third option, which would be to just do it the optimal way of jumping completely over the piranhas, which would be what you would see in an any percent run. So it's a little more precise to do it that way. You may have more luck with one of the more safe strats, but as the category grows, we'll definitely see this level become optimized. Probably be one of the earlier ones to match any percent exactly. Probably will be the first level to be like that. So I'm not going to show both because they have to be done like completely from the beginning. So I'll just show you the safe strat, and you can follow along with the document. It doesn't all fit on the page at once, but essentially, if we look at what we're doing, we're waiting the entire pickup, and then we start with our jumps, mixed in with some long rests. And the trickiest part is here in bar 17. We've got 3 jumps pretty close together. And in bar 17, like you'll see, I do a short hop. We want to make sure that's, not too long where then you don't have enough time to get the next jump off. So you'll want to keep that one pretty short as I'll demonstrate here. So, okay, from the beginning. And 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 3, 4, 10, 2, 3, 11, 2, 3, 4, 12, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 14, 2, 3, 4, 15, 2, 3, 4, 16, 2, 3, 4, 72, 3, 4, 18, 19, 2, 3, 4, 20. And now I know that since I didn't make any mistakes, I don't have to worry about Lakitu. I just jump to the right and get to the flagpole. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you do mess up, like if you accidentally jump late and brush up against this thing, or slow down in this section somehow, there's a risk that Lakitu will follow you up the stairs and start throwing spinies at you. So if anything slows you down, you waste time in some way, you probably want to spam B and shoot fireballs as you're getting up the stairs. In case anything went wrong there. But you can feel, after playing it for a while, if you did it right or if you got off time. So, yeah, another way to be safe if anything does go wrong. So, yeah, and overall strats, like a faster way, something like that. You'll see, if you look in the document, the rhythms have that included for the faster strat when to shoot the fireballs. But it's very similar other than that. Okay, so that does it for 4-1. Moving along nicely here. Okay, 4-2 is where things start to get a little glitchy. We're going to be exploiting some unintended mechanics here. So first I'll get us there. So 2 main strats on how to do 4-2. One is a wrong warp strat, and then one is just using the vine block in the intended way. And I would recommend using one to back up the other. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So regardless of which method you choose, the opening jump is the same. So doing a nice short hop on beat 6, and then a full jump on beat 2 of the next bar like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. So 6 short hop, 2 full jump. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. So once you get here, you're ready to decide which technique you're going to use and to get started down one path or the other. So first we'll talk about the wrong warp strat. This is brought to you by the good people at the Blindfolded Brotherhood on Discord. So shout outs to them. This strat involves clipping up into the ceiling and scrolling Mario much further to the right than he's normally intended to be. So first, we want to get on top of here and cancel as much of the momentum as we can. We don't want to be going so fast that we overrun that pit there. And even if you don't press B at all, you can still just walk right over it. So you need to make sure that you're not going too fast to go past that. But the most consistent way I like to do it is to get into here with walking speed, so that even if you're continuing, the camera doesn't scroll. If you like try to, do a few extra right presses while you're in here, you see the camera's moving. So that starts to make it a little less consistent, because the position of the camera is important for this trick. Okay, so once we're in here, we hear the first coin. We're going to inch left until we hear the third one. And then run to the right, to the edge of the screen, which will scroll the camera a slight amount. And then a big backwards jump to the left edge of the screen. And then we break 2 blocks and get ready to do our block clip. So we're at the left edge. We've got the blocks broken. What we're going to do is a jump while holding left. And then at the peak of the jump, we start mashing A to get in the blocks like this. So I broke the block. I didn't do the glitch, but you still have one more chance. So... And then you can see Mario got pushed to the right a good amount, but did not clip into the block. So try to demonstrate that one more time. Yeah, so now I got in. So once you hear the sound of Mario jumping and breaking blocks, like all in a row like that, you'll know you've gotten the clip. So once you're in, you need to exit. So just 2 jumps, break 2 blocks, and start running to the right. Count out... about 2.5 bars, a little less. You kind of just do it by feel until you get all the way as far as you can go. Then what I like to do here is scroll the camera a little bit so that the pipe actually makes sound. You don't want to do too much, because then the piranha becomes a danger. But if you just cheat left a little bit and then come back, should be enough to just make the collision become active there. So once that's done, it's a couple of jumps, flower 1, flower 2, and pipe entry. So jumping over flower 1, which is 2 jumps, jumping over flower 2, which is just 1. Oh, look at that. He came out anyway. Okay, so you'll have to be careful of him regardless. Okay, I haven't actually implemented this in a run yet, so this I haven't realized is a danger. But yeah, there's even with scrolling the camera a small amount, looks like a risk of this guy coming out too, so something to be aware of. Then when you have gotten over that, you just go right into this pipe. So you want to be pretty quick about that, because this beetle has just loaded in, and he'll eventually just do that if you hang out there. So you want to just do that. Get out of danger as quickly as possible. So, again, the whole thing. And now we're upstairs. The above ground section is pretty simple. There's not too much you can do to go wrong here. It's not possible to die unless you run out of time. And similar to the other ends of the levels, like the flagpole sections, if you just jump and run to the right, you'll get it eventually. Now, worst case scenario, you'll end up here, and the fireballs don't make any sound up here. It can be confusing as to where exactly you are. And at that point, you would just do a backwards jump and get yourself to there. And then you'll know when you hear that, okay, I'm all the way to the right side of the screen. If you get here, like to the bottom of the staircase, the way you feel your way up there is that you'll hear the explosions until they stop, which will either mean you're on this second step from the top here or on the very top. So once you stop hearing the explosions when you're climbing the stairs, you can do another little short hop to make sure you're not on the top step, and then continue running, and you'll hear that you're up against this wall. Plenty of ways to do this that are optimal. One little short hop there will allow you to run. And then figuring out a way to do the staircase optimally can save you a little bit of time as well. So it might be something you want to work on. Something like that. So, yeah, another thing from any percent that you might start to see in blindfolded runs. So now going back inside, if we don't want to do that block clip strat, if you find that hard, or if you fail it in a run, like if you break too many blocks, or if you scroll the camera too far, it'll just become impossible. You just won't be in the position to do the clip like this. So if it fails, or if you just don't want to do it, you'll move on to the next strat, which is to actually break the vine block. So basically, what we're doing there is like the intended way of finishing the level. So that involves 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 2, 2. So we're going to be jumping over the wall. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. For a little over one measure, maybe a bar and a beat. And then we're going to aim for these 3 Goombas. So when we hear the 3 deaths, we'll start using our head to check these blocks until we get out of the hallway. So don't want to do too much momentum, probably stop in between to not go too far. But then we'll know we got in the hallway based on a couple of different things that can change with the sound effects. So if you hear these blocks breaking, you'll know that you're still in the hallway. But if you jump and you don't hear a block break, you'll know you're in this position. Or if you hear a coin and then a bonk, you're here. Or also, if you press A and nothing happens, you're most likely in the air. So those are 3 different ways you could tell that you've gotten out of the hallway, at which point you turn left and you line yourself up with this wall. One thing to keep in mind, there's like a hidden coin block in here. So if you accidentally get there and you are moving very slowly, you might think when you hear that you're actually here. But the difference is that it will make the coin sound twice in a row. So that's one thing you can do to check. But after a while, you'll be confident that you haven't done that based on your motion, how long you've pressed down right in between jumps. So, okay, once we're lined up against this wall, we're going to get onto it. So generally speaking, when you get on top of something, it's a little more consistent to have your momentum completely stop before you do it. So like if you're running and then you jump on top of a wall, there's a chance that you might keep going a little bit. But if you stop totally and then just do a left or a right press at the peak of your jump, you'll make sure you're just barely on it. So that's more consistent than if you do have momentum. Then once you're on it, you can use a fireball to make sure you're on it and that you're not still down there. So with that technique, we'll be onto the wall in a perfect spot. And then we will be able to do our coin block jump. So that's just a backwards jump on beat 1 and letting go of everything on the end of 2. So that goes pretty nicely with the music. So it's like 1 and 2 and off, where the music is going da-na-na-na-na-na, 1 and 2 and off, right? So for us, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2 and off. And then break the ceiling and get into it. 1 and 2 and off. Now there is a risk when you break the ceiling. You want to make sure you do a full jump before getting onto it. There's a chance if you do a smaller jump that you'll press right and you'll think you're on the ceiling, but you actually went here. So make sure when you're getting ready to go on the ceiling, do a nice full jump and get onto it like that. There is the reason I go up into the ceiling is even though we could do this from here, like just jump over the pit, or even from the bottom, just like jumping over it somehow, there's always the chance that the elevator will just be there and will just kill you, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So to reduce those jump and pray moments, decided to go in the ceiling. And that rhythm, once we're up there, is a nice simple just jumping on the end of 4 while walking. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll get you right over the elevator pit. Then at that point, we're going to check this pipe that we see to see how far away we are from it. So right now, I know I'm in the right spot. under the coin block that we're looking for. But that's where we want to figure out. That's the position that we want to get to. So the distance. I kind of just do it by feel. It's approximately like when you shoot the fireball, it'll hit on like the end of 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and something like that. But if you're not sure, best to err on the side of getting closer to the pipe and then just short hopping until you find the coin block. Make sure not to go all the way to the right. If you go all the way to the right, you're going to make it impossible to actually get the vine. It will just never load in because you just moved too far to the right, and now it never shows up. There's nothing to grab. So make sure you don't go too far to the right. When you're checking for your distance from the pipe, you can hear that sound is a good starting point. It's close enough to it where you can tell it's nearby, but not so close that the vine is gone. So somewhere around here, start short hopping to reveal the first coin block. You want to short hop here to make sure you're actually getting the one you're aiming for. You don't want to get this coin block. I call that death coin because that's an instant reset. There's no way to get Big Mario up in there if you reveal that coin block. So make sure you don't do that. And when you're searching for the blocks, you're always doing the right jump. So a short hop for this one. And then once that's revealed, you're getting ready to hit the second one with a slightly taller jump. Right? Inch left. Avoid. Yeah. So avoiding the death coin again. You don't ever want to do a full jump here. This way, even if you are directly under the death coin, you just end up doing a jump that's small enough to not hit it. But you want to start by bonking this and then just inching to the left, where if you make a mistake, you're just going to bonk this and not go all the way here and get the death coin. Okay, so you've got the second coin block at that point. Okay, yeah, walk right for 3 beats and fire check coin block 2. So once that's revealed, you're just gonna 1, 2, 3, turn around and check for the block that we just broke. So yeah, once you know you're in the right position, where you're right next to that block, you just jump left to get on to coin block 1, and then do a jump to make sure you're there. You'll hear that brick breaking. If you fail this jump, do something like that. When you do the full jump, you won't hear the brick, and then just do it again. So now I know I'm on top of coin block 1, at which point I'm going to duck jump onto coin block 2, which is just something like that. And then same thing, you break the second block to check your position. And then we'll do what I like to call a safety full jump. So you do a full jump here on the off chance that when you did the duck jump, you ended up really far to the left. In which case, the full jump will either actually reveal the vine block, or it will force the block to push Mario out towards the center of the one he's standing on. So you saw there I was pretty far to the left, but then when I landed, I was closer to the middle of the block. So that's what the safety full jump is going to do for you. Put you in a position where once you do your after you've done the jump, you can do your 5 left presses, and that will help you figure out where you are. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3. So when you're going to get the vine block, it's 5 presses to go left. 2, 3, 4, 5. But then only 3 to get back, because then you just do a backwards jump and you get right onto the vine. The game doesn't want to put Mario in the block, so it pushes him out of it, and then so you can get away with doing fewer presses to go back to the right after you reveal the vine block. Yeah, then you grab the vine and press up, which is like the only time I think you ever have to press up in this game, if I'm not mistaken. And that's it. You'll do the above ground section. It's a little bit slower because you have to wait for the vine animation, but the same principle where you can basically sprint through and then feel your way up the stairs or come up with an optimal way to do that. No more sound, so I do a short hop, just like we talked about before, and that's it. World 8, coming up on 1 hour of the video exactly. I'm going to take a little water break, and then we'll continue. Okay, I'm back. I got my water. I counted 2 times that my voice cracked like a child in that first half, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. I don't usually talk this much, if you can't tell. But, all right, so we're ready to move on to 8-1, the longest level in the game. There is a little bit of everything in this level. You have 3 pieces of music we're going to be moving with, plenty of sound effects to keep track of. Pretty much this is like our midterm exam before getting on to the really hard stuff. So right from the beginning, we have our intro run. So not too complex from the beginning, 2 jumps in the pickup, and then we get into the main body of the music. So some nice things in here in the intro run. There's a couple of things that are like echoes. So when you jump here over the first pipe, there'll be the sound of a Koopa getting stomped on the very next beat 3. So it's like kind of call and response. And similarly, bar 5 and bar 7 have the same rhythm, so they kind of call and response to each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll hear that rhythm, and those kind of echoes make it like more musical and easy to get in sync with while you're playing. So I will demonstrate those things now. So the very beginning of 8-1. 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, stomp, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is what we're looking at for the intro run. So those call and response echo moments make that a little easier to remember and sync up with. Then we just need to check this pipe and jump right over it. You can just wait for him to unload, or come up with your own way to do it faster if you want to just jump right over him. What I do is just fireball a couple of times until you know he's gone away. Then you'll hear the coin when you run off of it. Then you just are going to go inside of this pipe. Now you have the fireball, so it's a little easier to determine where exactly you are. So one trick that I like to do is at the peak of the jump, just shoot 2 fireballs and then press down. While running, you shoot those fireballs. So basically, it's a trick that will make sure you're not like on the left side of the pipe trying to get into it and wasting time. It's a way to kind of make sure you've had enough time to get to the middle of the pipe. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is sound glitch. So the sounds in this game can override each other. So I think it can only play one sound effect at a time. So there will be times when it might just seem like a sound effect is missing. Like you just might press jump and it doesn't make the sound of the jump. Or you might shoot a fireball and it doesn't make a sound. Or a bullet bill can cover up things that you're doing. So it's something to be aware that can happen while you're playing. So I'll try to demonstrate that now, right? So you'll hear the sound of the Goomba die, but if I shoot a fireball at the same time, you might not hear one sound or the other. So if a Goomba dies at the same time that I shoot a fireball, you won't hear that clucking sound. If you notice there, the sound effect was missing, right? So that's something that can come up pretty much any time when you're using the fireballs, but certain key moments in the run, which I'll mention. So yeah, that's something that might happen if you're doing your fireball check to make sure you're in the center of the pipe, and you hit a Goomba at the same time that you're going down the pipe like that. There won't be any pipe entry sound effects. So yeah, sometimes sounds are just missing, and you want to just keep your confidence, know that you're doing the right thing, even if a sound effect is missing. Don't let that trip you up, and just keep going with the plan, especially when you know like where those things can happen. So another thing to keep in mind. Once we get in, the underground section is easy. You just hold right and sprint, and you are the TAS. That's it. No improvement really that can be made. Yeah. All right. So once we get out of the pipe, There's a lot of just random sort of things in a row that is where I started to like need sort of something to help me keep track of everything that's happening. So when you first come out of the pipe, you're just gonna mash B and run and kill those 3 enemies. So how do I keep track of doing that? Frank Reynolds helps me out. So I say to myself, 8-1 pipe exit. So anyway, I started blasting, right? Because when you come out of this pipe, you start blasting. So Danny DeVito will pop in my head when I'm doing the 8-1 pipe exit and help me to remember where I am. This next group, I call these guys the Forgettables because I always forget that they're there and I go straight from the Danny DeVito part to the next part. So in my images here with my memory trigger memes, the next one is Don't Forget the Forgettables. So we're going straight from Danny DeVito to this football thing. So you can, like imagine one of his bullets went into this football and deflated it or something. So it's kind of a method of like having one thing lead to the next. If you have no connection to stuff like this, you can pick your own things to trigger your mind of what's happening. So yeah, come out blasting, line up against the pipe. Don't forget the Forgettables. Get all 3 of them. Then, once we get the Forgettables, we're going into this little area I like to call the bait shop. So there's 2 moments in this level where you have pillars like this with a Koopa in between them. And so I have nicknames for those places in there. They all have to do with stores because it looks like a little shopkeeper in a store to me. So, and this is related to our next section too. So this I call the bait shop. That puts us here. So Danny DeVito, don't forget the Forgettables, and then you go in the bait shop. And in there, we just have to kill this one guy and keep running and line up with this pillar. Get on top of it, kill him. So that's our next section. After the bait shop, we're going to be going fishing just like Link does in Ocarina of Time. So I have both of these images here because the first half we're going to be fishing from outside of the water, and the second half will be fishing from inside of the water, which sort of looks like this. So first one, you're on top of this pipe, you're outside. Now you go in and you be the bait, and you draw this guy in. So that's what I have in the document here. Go fishing for 1 Koopa, and then run off the pillar and be the bait. So one thing I do is when I come off here, I immediately jump back on and make sure I'm on top of this pillar and I'm aiming for the Koopa from above. This will be a little safer than doing it by staying on the ground. In this case, he's falling into the pit, so it makes no difference. But it's possible that he will make it all the way to the left and hit you. So it'll be safer if you're up top when you're aiming for him. So yeah, it is possible. Like if you want to try once when you're down here, turn around and give him 1 shot. Sometimes you'll get lucky and just kill him that way, and then you can start the next step without having to go on top of here. But I just find it safer to aim at him from up here. And again, when mounting something, let your momentum cancel out, get on the edge of it, and then a couple of fireballs to make sure you actually got on the top could prevent you from getting hit. Sometimes, you're trying to get up here so quickly that you might do a short jump or you might go over or something. So you want to make sure that you are where you think you are. Turn around 2 fireballs, turn around another 2. So you're on top. Another random thing to keep in mind is that you can only have 2 fireballs on the screen at once. So you see if I try to do more than 2, it waits until they're unloaded before letting you do another one. So here, for example, that doesn't really come up because I'm up against the edge of the screen and the fireballs unload pretty much immediately. So something to keep in mind that, like if you're shooting while running or something that you might want to shoot a fireball and then nothing comes out. So just keep in mind they have to unload before you can shoot a third one. Okay, so yeah, we got our Koopa. We've been the bait. We've killed the second one. Yeah, we fired, check the pillar. Okay, so yeah, once we hear confirmation that the second Koopa has died, or You can assume he fell in the pit after like maybe 5 rounds of fireballs. You would have either hit him or he would have made his way to you. And I always, if you assume he died, it's a little bit stressful because you don't know for sure. So I'll like do a couple safety fireballs after I go back down before lining up at the pipe, before lining up at the pillar. I've never actually gotten a kill that way. It's more superstition than anything. Yeah, if you don't actually have any confirmation that he died, it might be something that you want to do also. Okay, so after we've done this whole fishing section, we've gone to the bait shop, we've gone fishing just like Link. Next, we're going to get the invincibility star. So we go from Link to Michael Jackson. Basically, this is a pretty simple rhythm. We're going to line up with this pillar and then just run right for 10 beats. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then take your hands completely off, let all the momentum die, and start working your way left to get the star. Once the star comes out, you know you can just run right for maybe 2 beats and then jump until you get the star. There are other ways to do it, like by timing your jump to actually get the star immediately, which I have to jump a little later to do, or earlier than that. But something like this, will be faster if you can time it. And then coming up with a different rhythm for the invincibility run. In my document here, I have it just doing it a safer way of just working your way left, because this way when the star comes out, you have plenty of margin of error of where you can go to get it. So feel free to optimize that or come up with your own way of doing it. Yeah, so that's how we reveal the star, and then that's how we get it, and then we are ready to actually do the invincibility run and do those rhythms. So this is a little different because we're not going to necessarily start counting on beat 1. We're going to wait until we hear the deaths of those 2 Koopas. So we get the star. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now I heard the 2 deaths, so I know I'm ready to jump on the very next beat 2. So if we're counting while running, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and. So those are the 4 main jumps for the invincibility part. They are all completely full jumps. That's what's nice about that. They're super consistent. My old strategy, getting over these 3 pipes, was like a short hop, and it was very precise with letting go of A and stuff. But this newer way I have of doing it, I think using all full jumps is like way more consistent. So again, that looks like this. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and then you just keep running to the right until the invincibility runs out. Okay, I'm going to get us a little bit of time back on the clock, since where the music changes in this level is like pretty much scheduled. We know that the time running out theme will happen at a certain time, so... Oops. Okay. Yeah, so we've gotten to the end of the invincibility part. And once that happens, the first thing we're going to want to do is fire check the small stairs and then do a full jump. So we fire check, we know we got there. We do a full jump to get on the staircase. At that point, I like to short hop and fire check until you don't hear the sound at all. Now we know we're toward the top. And then from there, just a little short hop and walk off to collect the coin. The reason I do it more carefully there is that if you just sprint through, there's the danger that the beetle can be there and mess with you. So I just find it a little safer to short hop and check the stairs to let me know exactly what position I'm in. And then walk right off, and then line up with the left side. Yeah, So that's it for that part. Coming up next, continuing our memes, we go from the invincibility part now to J.J. Abrams part, the J.J. Abrams mystery box. Why are these two parts named after film directors? Well, when I first started running Any Percent, I started calling this thing the Spielberg Oneer. This is a single block, and Spielberg is famous for his long single takes and stuff. So that's where that nickname came from. And then after that, I wanted to name this one after a film director too. And since this had like a double block, I said, well, that's the J.J. Abrams mystery box. So those are our two film director sections. So, and this is where we have two different rhythms based on if the music has changed already or not. And that's for both of the film director parts. So right here, so we'll go in order, right? So the overworld theme is still playing. So the J.J. Abrams jump is a bar of rest, and then jumping on the end of 2, and on beat 2 of Bear 3. So that looks like this. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oops. Sorry. So I actually jumped on the end of 1 of bar 2. We need to jump on the end of 2 of bar 2, which is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, and 3, 4, 3, 2. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, and 3, 4, 3, 2. So that is the J.J. Abrams mystery box. If the overworld theme is still playing. In between the film directors, we have the video store. Like I mentioned before, we've got the bait shop is the big one, and the video store is a little one. That's in between our film directors. And now up next, we have the Steven Spielberg Oneer, the Spielberg jump. So here, the overworld theme is still playing. So the rhythm is a bar of rest, and then these two jumps here. So 2 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 and 2, 3, 4, 3. Again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 and 2, 3, 4, 3. Okay, so if the time running out music is still playing, or if the music has sped up to the time running out theme, then we'll have different rhythms for both of these jumps. Most of the time, the music for me changes exactly at the video store part, like after J.J. Abrams and before Spielberg, like clockwork for me. For you, you might have different results. So I'll show you both. So now we have time running out for the Abrams jump. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, and 2, and 3, and. So here you notice the difference where we're actually counting slower when the music is faster, based on what we talked about before, just getting a BPM that's accurate for us. So one thing to keep in mind, because you'll hear the music change in this part of the level, so you'll have to change the way you're counting. Okay, and the Spielberg Oneer, if the time running out theme is playing. Okay, so and for the video store part, same principle as the bigger version, the bait shop. We just wait there to kill the Koopa, line up with the wall, and just jump over it. Here, it's easier to do a backwards jump, since you know where you're going to have to be lining up with the right side of it anyway. So you line up there, and then this is usually how I'll do this jump with the faster music playing. 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, and 3. All right, so not too bad. Again, that's like this. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, and 3. Okay, so now we've gone through the J.J. Abrams mystery box, the video store, since we want to bring a nice family movie to Steven Spielberg's house, then the Spielberg Oneer. So after we get through this whole film director part, we've got what we call in the document the last line of defense. So that is these guys that we just killed. So we just mash B to get past them, and then over this piranha. The last image I have for remembering stuff like that is Cayman. If you play Star Fox and you see this picture, the audio will immediately jump into your head and came in here, we'll let you know the last line has been breached. If you're not familiar with Star Fox, this means nothing to you, but the last line will still be breached by you. So yeah, feel free to share your memes that help you. I think that'd be funny. So yeah, last line, and then there's a big pipe and a small pipe. So you can either just kill him and run over, or wait for him to unload, jump over, whatever you want to do. Then we are going to backwards jump over the small pipe. 1 and 2 and. So here I actually updated this for the tutorial. So if you watch my run, I was actually counting in double time here. But then I figured for the tutorial I should be more consistent and just count the time running out theme in a single way. So this won't actually match up with the record video if you watch that. But this, I think, is just a more consistent way to do it. So basically, for the 8-1 stairs, once we get on the right side of this pipe like this, without pressing B, we're going to be doing 3 jumps in a very consistent rhythm. So I have notes here to release A a beat before. And in this case, like letting go of A is part of the rhythm that we're going to be doing. So these 3 jumps here with the releasing, when you put them all together, it's like 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I'll show you what that looks like here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, I ran out of time there. Don't do that. That's very frustrating. Yeah, so the nice thing about that jump... 2, 3, 4, 2, oops. The nice thing about that jump is that because the pressing A and the releasing of A have that pattern to them, it becomes pretty square rhythm, something that's pretty easy to replicate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Like very, very blocky and square. So jump over this pipe, line up on the right side of it. If you don't get completely over it, you'll do something like this, and then you won't hear any explosion noise. And then line up right and just repeat the process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And that's it for the 8-1 stairs. Again, if you figure out a way to hit the top of the flagpole, that's faster. I didn't do it there. It'll be 5,000 if you get it. 1, 2, 4, 1. Yeah, even that wasn't the very top. But, yeah, you can save a little bit of time that way. Yeah, this one's pretty precise. That's why I put the timing for releasing it. I find that makes it more consistent. But, yeah, you may find a way to hit the top of the flagpole or do this with less setup time. Yeah, that would be faster. So up to you to try and find something like that. So that is 8-1. That's the longest level. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So yeah, once you get past this point, you're ready to head to 8-2, one of the most difficult ones, probably the most difficult level. At this point, mentally, I try to consider 8-1 to be like the early game. Being that 8-2, 8-3, and 8-4 probably have the hardest stuff in it, I try to kind of imagine that you're still in the early game at 8-1. You haven't really gotten to the hard stuff. You want to save some of your mental energy for 8-2 now that you're getting to the real tricky stuff. So something I keep in mind as far as mental attitude going through this, and kind of saving your energy for the really stressful moments. So okay, right from the top here, 8-2 starts off with this tricky staircase. I have a way of doing it that is not the most safe and might not even be the most consistent for you. I just happen to find this way really consistent, even though it's kind of awkward. There are definitely faster ways to do it and safer ways to do it. But this is my way. I like to do this one jump on the second bar of the pickup, which has a swing rhythm, where just like in 1-2, we're going to be jumping a little bit late, so a little bit after the end of 1. And that's going to get us exactly onto this second step from the top of the first section of the stairs. And then we do 3 jumps in a row in the first bar of the music in this rhythm. And it goes along with the music in such a way that I like to say this to myself while I'm doing it, because it kind of goes with it. So like this. 4, 1, 2, 3. Short, short, long, kill, Lakitu. So it kind of goes with the melody. Dun, 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 dun. Short, short, long, kill, Lakitu. Right, so that's how I help remember the timing. 3, 4, 1, 4. Oh, so there I jumped too early and didn't get far enough. You also don't want to jump too late and either stomp the Koopa or run into him or end up going over. Something like that you don't want to do, or do that. So, yeah, you want to get the timing of that jump very precise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Long, kill, Lakitu. So, yeah, you can check out other people's videos to see how they do the stairs. Most people do it more safely. There's a faster way to do it, like the 90% way, where you just breeze past it, and then I think you might have to duck as Big Mario to get past Lakitu. But there's definitely a more optimal way to do that to be discovered there. So, yeah. So once you get past the stairs, the thing that you want to focus on is not falling in this pit. Even if you get past the stairs, you don't want to do that. And you end up on the coin blocks. Even if you stop completely, you might still end up running directly into that pit. So if you run without stopping, there's a good chance you'll do that. But even if you do, you might still end up in there when you don't want to. So what I do is I just line up completely left. Let me get Lakitu out of the way because he's not usually there. Yeah, so I'll line up left here, and then I'll run until I'm lined up with this spring here. There are probably other ways to just, do a consistent jump. Once you end up, if you end up here or on the coin blocks, there's probably something you can come up with to just do consistent jump that gets you over the pit. But for now, I do this line up left and line up right. So that gets us to the spring. And then a short backwards jump over it. That'll skid you to a stop and put you approximately on the second block there. And then what you want to do is we're looking for this spot on the third block where our fireballs hit every single time. And while we're looking for that spot, we're also aiming for this Koopa. All right, so if you're too far to the left, it will only hit sometimes. See, about every other one was missing. That clues me in that I'm too far to the left. I'll inch right until I'm hearing the fireballs every single time. All right, so once we get into that exact position, we're ready for what I call mega jump, which is like a really tricky and RNG dependent jump based on the way I do it right now. So getting there looks like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, and 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now, my method there is just to fire 2 fireballs and kill the Koopa and just run right to the bill launcher and then duck for safety or get on top for safety, right? So that's what I prefer, to get on top of the launcher since it's easier to scroll the screen there. And because also you still want to aim for the other Koopa who can still be there. So once you're on top of here and both Koopas are cleared out, you'll be standing in silence and you'll be ready to safely get here, which is our safe spot for our next jump. So that's the one method for Mega Jump for getting here. I think I have found something that can work. So with this method right here, just killing the Koopa and running right, there's really nothing stopping a bullet bill from coming out of this bottom right launcher and hitting you. So you're kind of jumping and praying and making sure, and just hoping that a bill doesn't shoot out of here and hit you. One of these from the bottom right, that guy. So I think a method that will work for every pattern is if you press left before hitting the Koopa and also do like a ducking short hop, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Left, fireball, ducking short hop. I think if we get the timing really precise, if we can figure out exactly when to press left and B and short hop, I think we can find something that works for every pattern. The idea behind that is that you'll short hop in a way that regardless of if a bill fires out of the top or the bottom, you'll be in a position where you can defeat them. So if you jump early enough and short enough, Mario will start falling early enough that if a bullet hits him from the top, he will stomp it. And then if a bullet fires from below, he'll go over it and then potentially stomp a bullet if it comes out of the bottom right before he hits the ground. So 3 different possibilities for when the bullets can come out. I think they would all be covered by doing a precise ducking short hop like that. It all comes down to making sure you're far enough to the left to kill the Koopa, and then that the jump is not too tall or too early or too late. You want to really be in that sweet spot where there's just no way they can kill you. So it's one of those things where getting that consistent will take a long time, but then it will end up eliminating an RNG element from the run, which will just get you a lot more runs past this point. So I think that's something that will be fun to work on as a community if we can solve these problems, especially in 8.4. You'll see the cheap room. That has the most potential for just killing runs based on RNG. So yeah, those are the kind of things that solving the puzzle of I think is really attractive. So that I think is a consistent technique for there. Try to show you one more time what that would be. The ammo 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Left, ducking short hop, and then stay down. When it's safe, get on top. Scroll the camera on top of the launcher or next to it. I like to go on top and just walk a little bit, aim for the Koopa. You could also just duck here, and when it's safe, scroll the camera enough until that bill launcher just stops firing completely. Or do what I do and just get on top of it. Aim for him. Now you know you got both Koopas. You're on top of the launcher. You're alone. It's safe. So then the next step is to line up with the left side of the launcher. And when you're on top of it, you don't want to go too far away before turning back around, because if the bottom launcher fires, you'll just get hit like that. So you want to just basically creep off the edge. So press left a little bit and then fire check right. No, I'm still on top of it. Okay, I'm next to it. Then run to the right and next to it. So for our next jump, for bullet jump 1, first we'll face left and then get ready to do these rhythms. So it's a backwards jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 in. So that's my way of getting past that first section of bullets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 in. For the ending part, you may have more luck just jumping on top of the launcher and jumping again. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That may work for all the patterns. There are some patterns where a bullet from the left side will fire late enough that even with your one and jump here, you'll still get hit. It's another part of the run that still has some RNG left to it. But it may be consistent if you can get on top of this launcher in time. 4, 1, 2, 3, like that. And then you'll be above any bills that might be on the ground level. And you'll be jumping in time to get over any ones that fire from the other. So that is getting to that bill launcher. Then, so if we didn't jump on top of it, we're fire checking it, and then we do jump on top of it. A couple of extra fireballs to make sure we're on top. And then we get ready for bullet jump 2. So what that involves is when we are on top of this launcher like this, we're going to do 3 presses in a row: right on 1, B on 2, and A on 3. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So 3 hits in a row. Then for the next 2 jumps, again, we're going to let go of A beat before we hit it. So the first jump being on beat 2, and the next jump being on beat 1, we're going to let go a beat before that. So, and then once we get over that section from these 2 jumps, we want to hold left and then duck. That's going to allow the bullets to pass over us and get us into the next safe position. So altogether, it's like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, left, down, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4. Go left to check the bill launcher, get on top of it, and kill the Koopa. Okay, so demonstrating that again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, down, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4. Check left, get on top, make sure you're on top, kill the Koopa. So that is that whole section. Checking left to the launcher, getting on top of it to kill the Koopa. Now the next we want to jump over the small pipe and mine the gap. So there's a little gap here, and if you jump the wrong way, you'll just fall into it. I'm not going to be able to demonstrate it because it's a tutorial, and that's what I need to happen. But basically, there's a pretty big margin of error, so I just do like a, like a 1, 2, 3, and then you can run right across it. If you do like a late full jump, you might end up just going in it, or if you have something that's not consistent. But yeah, you come up with something that works for you. There's plenty of ways you can just jump over that and line up with this pipe. Not too bad. So you find the next pipe, get on top of it. So that involves, lining up with this pipe and then getting on top. And then our pipe entry jump is pretty simple. It's just 3 presses. Pressing right on beat 1 and then B, and then jumping. So right, B, A. All right, so over 2 bars. 2, 2, 3, 4. Right, B, A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Pretty simple. Okay, so next we're over that pit. We're going into the pipe. So we can either just wait for him to unload, or we can just jump up right away and try to kill him. Since I usually fire 2 fireballs to get in the pipe anyway, might as well do that while you're getting in here. You'll probably want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You'll probably want to just check it once just to make sure you got over the gap. But another area where you might get sound glitch, like I just did, didn't get a pipe entry noise, and also the sound of the fireball exploding can take your jump away here. So if it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, depending on what it hits, you may be missing some sound effects there. So another thing to be careful about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So something like that can happen. Another sound glitch there. That's the 8-2 pipe entry is the more common spot. And underground again is just a sprint, same as the last level. Exit pipe and wait 2 bars for control of Mario. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Turn around left. Facing left. So this part is like all visualization and muscle memory for me. So you're facing left. You're listening for the bill, waiting for it to pass you, and listening for a double tap. Like sometimes the launcher will just fire 2 bullets, one right after the other. So you want to be aware to be careful in those moments. So here we're listening. I hear the bill fire. I visualize how fast it's moving, and I know about how much time it will take for it to get exactly to that spot. And then it's safe to jump over and duck. Duck if you hear another one. All right, now you know you're safe about halfway through. When you hear the next bullet fire, you do that motion to jump over it and then jump over the launcher. You want to try to minimize the amount of time you're on the ground, because if there is a double tap there, you'll be pretty close to the launcher when it happens. Okay, so backwards jump halfway to build launcher and safety duck. Yeah, so to demonstrate that in real time, it'd be like this. 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, facing left. Hear a bullet. It's got a good amount of time. I hear another one. Just gonna go for it. Oh. Yeah. So if you hear one right away, you might want to jump right away. You might find it better to just play it safe and duck until you feel ready. Yeah. So basically, same thing twice in a row, where you'll do your backwards jump to get into the middle, and face left, and then listen for the bill and do the same thing again, only faster. Backwards jump over the bill, listening for the double tap, minimizing the amount of time we're on the ground. Run right and jump over launcher. So yeah, once we do that, we want to double fireball and kill the Goomba. So we're just going to fireball one of them and then full jump to get over the second. The stairs here are similar to the ones we did right before the J.J. Abrams jump when we unloaded that beetle, where we want to fire check and like short hop our way up. So after you kill that Goomba, you want to do a full jump. Then you're doing like these fire check short hops until you get to this spot where there's no sound from your fireballs. And you want to do that pretty quickly, because if you end up here, you are in danger of that. So, and a full jump might still get you there like that. So you want to right away start checking and going up to where you need to be. So you'll hear, same as the other staircase, the explosion sound happens all the way up until here. Now, once you're in a spot where you don't hear the explosions of your fireballs, you know you can do a little short hop to the right and get to the point where you can hit the top of that launcher and know where you are. This is definitely another sound glitch part. The bullets firing can cover up anything. They cover up your jumps, cover up your fireballs, and it's very hectic with like 3 of them here. So, yeah, you want to keep in mind you might not hear yourself jump, and you might shoot a couple of fireballs here and not hear any of them explode, and then you think you're here. So you want to shoot enough fireballs that you know they weren't covered up by another sound. Okay, so yeah, you're on the second. Yeah, you beware of the sound glitch. Short hop right onto the top block. Now you're here. Fire check the bill launcher. And like the first fireball I shot at it, got covered up by a bullet. Just keep trying. Yeah, spam it until you have confirmation of where you are. Don't let the sound glitch trip you up there. So we fire check the bill launcher. Now we're doing our mini stairs jump. That's walking 2 and 1 and 2 and 2, and then holding left on beat 2 to tightly get up against that bill launcher. 1 and 2 and 2. Oh, sorry, I forgot 3 and 4. I forgot how to count. 1 and 2 and sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Well, we'll go back and get some time back here. That'll be enough. Let me run through. That's our technique. Yep. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, just like that. So that's our mini stairs jump. Show you again. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2. And that's a walking jump, since we want that precision of not going too far. If we jump too far, we might get hit by the bullet or by the Koopa. We want to go far enough to load him in so that we can kill him from up here, but not so far that we're in danger. So that's 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2. Fire checking on top of it. Make sure we're on top. Kill him. Now, for this one, we do want to come off the launcher carefully, because if we do go too far, there is a risk that bottom launcher will shoot at us. So we want to inch right, fire check left. No, still on top. Inch right, fire check left. No, I'm still on top. There, I'm up against it. Okay, I want to not have that music change. No. All right. So the stairs on this level are actually pretty forgiving. As far as like the World 8 stairs, they were nice to us and didn't put like an extremely difficult staircase in this difficult level. So let's see, make sure we're in the right spot. Kill Koopa. Okay, so here we shoot fireballs running right, listening for the bills. After we kill the Koopa, we get off safely. We're gonna do something like that, where after the fireballs explode, we do a jump and then a backwards jump. If we hear bills. So as you're shooting the fireballs and running, we're listening. They shot. So I know I have to go left. In my run, the bills didn't fire, but I still jumped left out of habit, even though it was perfectly safe. So that loses a little bit of time. But even still, if there are no bullets and you do a jump, you can't really tell if you ended up on the first step or the second one. So you might still want to get off of it and then do 2 small jumps to make sure you're here, which is where we plan to do the jump from. So up to you what you want to do. But basically, once you get onto the second step, you face left, and then the 8-2 staircase is just a 1 and a 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And okay, so right there you saw I was about to do the jump, and then the music changed. So also in 8-1, like when you're doing the director's part, if the music changes while you're counting, just keep counting as if nothing happened. Like, march to the beat of your own drummer. Like, don't let the music change. Be like, oh, no, I have nothing to count along with now. Just keep counting as if nothing happened, right? So if I'm getting ready to do that 1, 2, 3, 4, and the music changes, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to ignore the music and just keep on counting at the same rhythm. Yeah, so that is 8-2. It's a tricky one, but if we can get that technique of reducing the RNG for those bullet parts, I think this will be a lot less scary. So, yeah, that's 8-2. And once you get past that, your heart rate will probably start to increase as you're in the second to last level. So we'll let this play through and get there. And yeah. Okay, so our opening jump of 8-3, I call jump, jump, duck. So in the on bar 2, the pickup, we're jumping on the end of 1, and on the very next bar on the end of 1 also. And then we duck on beat 4. So it's like this. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, duck. So we actually didn't hear a bullet, so it's safe for us to just go immediately. It's worth it to do a quick check before you jump. Make sure. Oops. So if we're ducking, 1, 2, 3, 4, duck. No bullet, just go. If you do hear a bullet, you might want to wait a couple of measures just for him to unload. Like, I wonder if I can force it to do that. Yeah, so we heard that bullet. We don't know necessarily which launcher it came from. Maybe you can tell because of the timing of when it happened. Like, you'll know if it was this one that fired or this one. But if you're not sure, just duck here for a couple of bars. They'll disappear. And this one won't fire because you're touching it, and the other one's unloaded. So you just have to wait for those bullets to disappear, and then it'll be safe again. So yeah, you check the launcher and jump over, and then get up to this pipe and check that. Then we scroll the camera 4 times to get the Hammer Bros in view. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now the camera's moved over, and we're going to get on top of this pipe, aiming for the piranha. So here you only want to shoot 1 fireball, because if you shoot 2, you might get sound glitch and you might not actually hear the sound of the piranha dying. So you want to just shoot 1 so you get the confirmation if he comes out. Yeah. He won't always come out, so sometimes you shoot for him and you just miss, or he just wasn't there. And you want to remember the state. Remember the state of him. He's still alive, okay? Because you have to get back on this pipe again, and he'll be a danger if he's not dead. He'll usually come out when you go in the second time. So now you're on top of the pipe. The piranha's still alive. So 1 low, 1 high. Low, jump high for fireballs. We do that until we get 1 of them. 1 of the Hammer Bros. We kill the first one with that. Then you can either just run off and then run back. There is a risk if you go too far that, because eventually we want to end up on the left side of this pipe facing left. But if you end up running too far, it won't be possible to get back there. So one thing I like to do now is just safely get off like we did some of the bill launchers, and then just immediately get right back on it. But don't actually, if you continue to touch it, the piranha probably won't come out, but you just want to be safe and try to kill him when you get back on top of it. And then low high until you get the kill. It might take a couple times, but you just have faith, you'll get him. So now both bros are dead. Piranha's still alive. Might want to do a couple checks because we have to go on top of the pipe. But once the second bro is dead, the piranha's dead, we are ready to do the first hammer jump. So yeah, we're on the left side of the pipe. We checked it right. Now we're facing left. So it's a pair of 3 ands. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, and duck. So and then we duck on 4 and. All right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Now we heard the first bullet. We jump and shoot for the Koopa. So we got him. Don't duck jump here. So we have a warning not to do that, right? So if you do this, you won't be able to fire any fireballs. And you'll be in danger. So you want to duck to be safe from the bullet, but then once he passes you, stand up and jump and shoot your 2 fireballs. On the first one, you'll probably want to go to the right as you're jumping to get you closer to the Koopa to kill him and get you closer to the bill launcher to get the bullets to stop firing out of it. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bullet, jump to the right, got him. We listened for the Koopa kill. Now we hear the bullets have stopped firing. So we check the bill launcher and jump right over it. Check it, jump over it, and listen for the bullet when you jump over it. So bullet, duck. A couple of bars. Check this pillar, go over it. How do we lose so much time? All right. Again, I'm going to get us into that position earlier so that the music changes when we need it to. Can you tell I never play as Big Mario? I'm going to blame it on that. Okay. So. We heard the bullet, we ducked, we get over the pillar. Now we're ready for the second set of bros. So let's make sure we're in the right spot. Fucking wait, don't move it. Yeah, so again, we're going to scroll the camera 4 times. But this time we're actually going to try to kill them each time. So you can shoot a ball, scroll it once, fire. Now I know 1 is dead and 1 is still left. 3rd scroll, no dice. 4th scroll, nothing. So now we get on top, same technique. 1 low, 1 high. So now we got them. We got both, and we're ready to do hammer jump 2. This is another spot where you want to be pretty precise with the fireballs to avoid sound glitch. Like your jump or your fireballs can easily cover up the death sound, so just try to get a feel for the timing. Let your first fireball have enough time where you confirmed it didn't kill anyone before firing the second one. Yeah. So once these guys are all dead, or they're both dead, we are going to get to the left side of this. So this is like the earliest where if the music changes, I would still feel like I had enough time. Anything before this, I would feel like I was extremely late and probably would run out of time. 8-3 is played really safe because of the variation of the Hammer Bros. We do all this camera scrolling and precise fireball placement, because we don't know what they're going to do. And because of that, we'll have almost no time when we get to the end. I mean, the last record, he had 0 seconds on the clock. I've gotten 0 in practice a couple times, and you could tell because no time counts down. There's like no sound effect during that time, which is a scary feeling. But sometimes you'll only have a single digit number of seconds left. So this is a very, very tight level. You can't really waste any time. You really have to remember the strategy and just do exactly what you plan to do. But okay, so if the music does change here, it's all on beat ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it's not too hard to remember compared to the overworld theme. This is 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2. And then shoot the Koopa. So starts off the same 1, 2, 3, and as the hammer jump 1, but the difference is now the second jump is a little earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, and kill the Koopa. Once I'm not gonna wait for the time to run out to show you this, but that's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Easy enough. If the time running out theme is playing. So did I notate that correctly? Because then this might actually be I think this might be actually if you count it double time like I used to. I might have to update that. But yeah, most of the time you'll still have the overworld theme here. So you can just do this. Yeah, so I think that would actually be 1 and 3, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and then bar 2B1. Yeah, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 for our time running out. If it does happen. But most of the time, you're just going to be doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And kill the Koopa. Now, you probably only have to go maybe 1 or 2 blocks before you can see the Hammer Bro. So you can just inch to the right and get him. Keep in mind, him, like all the Hammer Bros, can jump. So you might be right next to him and you shoot him and you just don't kill him. So in that case, you might want to just do an extra one. Like if he jumped and you missed him, just do it again in the same spot before trying to move the camera anymore. Yeah, and then once you do kill them, their hammers can still kill you. So after that death sound, you want to run left before trying to load the next one. So with the exception of the first one, like we don't necessarily have to run left because we're moving so little to get him. So you can just do that. So we scroll the camera, we kill Hammer Bro 1. So now we're going to run right 6 beats to kill Bro number 2. So right from where we're standing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shoot, shoot, go left. Now we got him on the first try. If we didn't hear any death sound, I would do another check just to make sure he didn't jump. And then if you still don't have him, do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then check him. And by then you'll have him. Yeah, run left immediately to avoid hammers when you hit him. And then in case he jumped, do your extra fireballs. And repeat the steps if he doesn't die. You might want to not do 6 every time because you're getting closer to him. So as you do your iterations, probably shorten that. Okay, so if yeah, and then so once you've killed the 2 hammer bros there, you just sprint to the right until you get to the pipe, and then we're gonna scroll the camera once. And the easiest way to do that is just jump, fireball, and then hold left. That will get that gives you a chance to get the piranha if he is out. And then you go back right to scroll the camera, and then just jump and fireball, and you'll get that first bro, unless he jumps. In which case, you just have to do the same thing again. Now you've gotten him. You've got the piranha. You've gotten bro number 3. Yeah, same thing. Right for 6 beats and then 2 fireballs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit approximate because sometimes the time running out theme is playing, and like for this first one, and sometimes the overworld. This is like 6 for overworld theme, and this is like 6 for time running out. But you're gonna pretty much do it by feel, so you get a sense of what works for you there. So we've got okay. Once we kill the piranha, we scroll the camera. We know we'll get the bro without moving anymore. We do that and run immediately left. And if he jumped, we'll try again, like that. But we got both. So now we know we're ready for the stairs. So that's running to the right and checking this little stump thing. So the stairs here are very precise. There's nothing in between them. There's just 3 floating blocks. So we've got another instance where we're mentioning when we're going to let go of A. And this is another instance where I counted in double time in the run that I'm not doing anymore. So this will look a little different than it did in the run. But 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what we're doing there is making sure to let go of A on the end of 3 in this bar, a beat before our final jump. And you can even, the first jump is like a short hop. So you can even imagine that you're going to let go of A like on the end of one, like right after. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So to kind of give you a sense, if you take a look at the hand cam, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Nope. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So when I failed it, I'd pressed A, I think a little, or I let go of A, I think a little late. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. But if you're careful to make sure you let go of A right on the end of 3, you should get it every time. It should become pretty consistent. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then just jump to the right to the flagpole. Yep, as always, if you can hit the top, that's better. Just come up with something that works for you. So yeah, once we've gotten past here, we're ready for the very last level. So this is where you have to make sure that you don't die of nervousness. Yeah, it's actually not that terrible of a level compared to like all the other RNG stuff we had to deal with. It does have the cheap room, which is the most RNG dependent. Definitely the most like just run through the room and pray kind of moment. But otherwise not too bad for the very end here. 2 pieces of music we discussed before, castle theme, water theme. So let's get into it. So right off the bat, yeah, so we're going to do these backwards jumps to get onto the second or the third step. And holding left pretty much as soon as we do it to make sure we don't go too far. So yeah, so you might end up on the second or the third step where you'll hear the fire sound, and that's exactly where we want to be. If you went too shallow, you'll go on the first step and you won't hear any sound, and then just repeat it. And then 1 and 2, that's the castle stairs jump, nice and short. 1 and 2, not much to it. Now we want to fire check the pipe and get over the pipe and kill that piranha. You could probably just jump over it too, if you get the timing. Sometimes, depending on what you do, he might not even be killable. If you like line up with this, he might just be in a position where if you jump and shoot a fireball, he'll still hit you. So it might be safer to just jump over him or come up with something like where you shoot a fireball in the air at him, something like that. Up to you. But then, so while you're running in this really long stretch that they like basically put in there to mess with you, you don't want to shoot too many fireballs because each time you let go of B to shoot a fireball, you run the risk of slowing down the walking speed. So count out a couple of bars. You know it's a long section before you start checking this pipe. At that point, you are going to kill these guys. I call them the gentlemen because they're in their nice evening attire. But we're going to kill them anyway. So you get on top, you listen for 3 deaths, and then line yourself up with this pipe. So I don't like to run in here too much because once you start loading in this orange platform, it becomes less predictable. Once it's loaded in, it just moves left to right, and you'll have to, be more precise. But what I like to do is get off this pipe safely, know that I'm up against this edge, and then we have another nice sequence of like the same rhythm 2 bars in a row. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So that's nice and in control since we made sure not to load in the orange platform until we were ready. And then it'll always be in that exact spot every time you do it. This flower will always disappear. He can't hurt you under normal circumstances. I always end up shooting at him anyway because I'm imagining him, and then I forget that he can't hurt you. But yeah, not something you have to worry about. You can just jump in the pipe. It might help you to check it anyway, to fire check that pipe. So no harm in just shooting a fireball there. Yeah. So once you enter this pipe, we're gonna mash B and hold right while it's loading, getting ready to line up with that other pipe that has the piranha coming out of it right now. So that's like this. All right. So as the transition is happening, we're holding right, we're pressing B. That'll let us know when we're right up against the pipe, and then you just run off of it and you'll stomp both of these beetles. Just like this. As soon as it sounds solid, you get there. Now, there are 2 Koopas here. Sometimes there's only 1. You can kill them right from where you stand or get on the pipe a little bit. Sometimes it's frustrating if there's only 1 because you have to kind of come in here on spec and shoot for a Koopa that might not even be there. So that can be a little nerve-wracking. But if you get both deaths, or if you get 1 and then you can assume the other guy's dead, begin the next step of scrolling the camera. So this, you want to line up with the pipe and jump immediately, stomp the 2 beetles, fire check the pipe. This one, and or actually, so yeah, we're still back here. Fire checking this pipe, killing the 2 Koopas. There might only be 1, and now we're gonna go over here, scroll the camera again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and get on top. Now this 1 Koopa, he should take himself right off the edge there into the fire. So you don't really have to worry about him. If you fire a couple fireballs, you might hear him, and then you know for sure he's dead. And then it's just a 2-beat jump. So it's kind of approximate. It's more of a muscle memory thing. But you want to run into this area and then get yourself safe, and then shoot fireballs at the second one. So I just kind of do like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then low high until I get him. Probably might not necessarily have to scroll the camera if you want to just do your own way of trying to get both of them. That will be faster. So up to you. Once you have both of those guys down, the next thing you want to do is find this coin block. It's not like 4-2 where it's not like 4-2 where you have the risk of like the death block. You can just hunt for this thing. You have these 2 to help you find where you are. If you go past it, or if you can't find the coin block, you hear these 2 bonks in a row that you're under the pipe, and then there's an empty space, and then there's the block. So if you're approaching from the left side, like after you killed the Koopa, you just kind of short hop and move to the right. Yeah, then make sure you're between the block and the pipe, like you do a jump, and you don't hear any bonks, and you fire at the peak of your jump. You hear the explosion. Then the backwards jump, get on the coin block, fireball without jumping to make sure you're next to the pipe, and then jump and try to kill the piranha. He might take 5 times or more. Like he sometimes is not always out right away. So yeah, then once you get him, I like to backwards jump into the pipe. I feel like the momentum gets canceled more consistently, but it's not really a requirement. Okay, the cheap room. Cheaps, also known as the cheap room. This is where there are so many different patterns that they can do that I'm just going to tell you the best thing I've come up with to get through here that will be successful the most amount of times, but definitely have not found a sequence of inputs that works for every pattern. I think this is probably the biggest challenge of this whole run right now, is solving this, because nobody wants to get all the way to the last level and then lose a run to randomness. So while that's loading, I like to buffer A, B, and right. Yeah, which should be there like that. And then, so you'll jump automatically on beat 2 of bar 2, and then you're going to do these 3 jumps, and then a short hop on the one end of 6, aiming for the piranha. So you want to spend as little amount of time in this room as possible, because the more time you're in there, the more cheaps are jumping around and more chance to get hit. So looks like this. Oops. A, B, and right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, in. Oh no, I missed one. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3. Oh. Let me actually just do this without counting out loud. So, a little something like this. 1, 2. Yeah. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and jumping in and fire checking. So, as you can see, it's still you're still pretty close to them at times. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, in. So that's what that looks like. I'll try some other. I'll randomize it a little bit and go in at a different time to try and get a different pattern, and do the same thing. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, in, and just like that. So that will not work for every pattern, but that's kind of where it stands right now. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, in. Yeah. So yeah, the last real RNG issue to solve in this game, I think. Okay, so we got the piranha getting in the pipe, and now we are in the water section. So this can really mess with your head because you've just gotten through like probably the most stressful part of the game, and now you're in this part where the music is like really slow and calm. So it's a bit of a trip. But here we are going to buffer again, and the first jump will happen automatically. So if you remember, we don't consider the pickup to be part of the music. So I actually put that here. Oh yeah. So we're resting on the first bar of the pickup, and then in the second bar of the pickup, we're jumping on beat 1 and beat 4. And the first one will happen automatically. So that'll look like this. Buffering. 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Right, so yeah, 1 happens automatically, then 4 is our first jump. Then we rest for a bar, and now we have our next series of jumps. After that, we have half a bar where we just stop, and that'll give us a more favorable fire bar and the octopus blooper enemies. The patterns of them will be a little easier. So yeah, we have the stop in there for that, and then 3 bars of rest, and then in bar 10 we jump for 3 beats in a row and go right into the pipe. So the whole thing together looks like that. Looks like this. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Take a little break. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Da, da, ba, ba, ba. Yeah. So there you heard at the end, I didn't even really count in 6. I just was saying 1, 2, 3, going against my own rule. Because there are actually, that bar 10 has the same note. Ba, 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 da. So it's like that one rhythm. Ba, 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 da, ba, da. So that's kind of what I listen for. Ba, 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 2, 3, 4. And I'm in. So, if that helps you to just do it like that, the way I do it, it might be easier than, counting out the actual bar numbers. Yeah, so that will get us into the final room. So, yeah, if everything goes to plan and we still have firepower, it's super easy. You just jump. You just line up with the pipe and jump and kill the hammer bro. And then you do our last jump here, the leap of faith. This is like a little bit opposite of our swing rhythm before. We're going to do the last jump a little early just to be safe. So it's like this. No, we don't want that to happen. Two, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2. And then you'll almost always hit the Podobo fireball. And then you just jump to the right, just like the flagpole sections, and you'll get it. You'll damage clip. You'll use your invincibility from getting hit to just get right through Bowser. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and now we hit the fireball and damage clip right through Bowser. If you take a hit in the cheap room, most likely, or in the water section, I have a strategy here to finish the game as Small Mario. It's definitely harder, but it is possible. And so let's say you get hit in the cheap room. The water section is actually going to be exactly the same based on the way I have it. So that's the same. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Take a little break. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 bop, bop, bop. In. So the water section is the same. The Small Mario final room is definitely more difficult than doing it as Fire Mario. But from the music changing when you enter the pipe, it's bar 2, beat 3, and that's where you're aiming to bonk the hammer bro. And then your next jump is on bar 3, beat 4. And if you miss that, if you don't hear the sound of the hammer bro getting killed, it means you jumped too late, in which case you do a short hop, long hop to get over him. So that's like this. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, that should probably be, let me. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So actually, I would say this is actually bar 2, beat 4. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Over the fire breath. Over Bowser. So yeah, that's if you hit the hammer row, if you do it right, which is the same as like, what we're trying to do in 90%, right? Just get it just like that. If you don't hear the sound of him, it means you probably did this, in which case you short hop, long hop, and that'll put you under him if he jumps and over him if he doesn't. Yeah, no sound, short hop, long hop. And then for the last jump, you're not really you also just have to kind of randomly jump over the fire breath. And then for the very last jump, you don't have any way of knowing what Bowser's going to do. So, most of the time he'll jump, or rather, most of the time you jumping will be the safest way to do it if you get it at the right spot. Sometimes if he jumps forward, you're really supposed to run under him, but you'll have no way to know that he's done that. So it's pretty much a YOLO jump and pray moment. Over the fire, over Bowser, and get it. So yeah, that is the strategy if you are a small Mario at the end. And that brings us to the end of the game. So, wow, that took way longer than I thought it would. But yeah, there is definitely a lot to unpack here. So, yeah, definitely give this a shot yourself. Tell your friends. Hit us up on Discord, Blindfolded Brotherhood. Leave comments here. This is definitely a work in progress. So feel free to point out anything I may have gotten wrong or any ideas you might have. And yeah, so Twitch, Discord, YouTube, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, follow. I hope you learned something. I definitely I learned one thing. I learned about the piranha plant in 4-2. Got to be careful with that. So look at us. We're all learning. That's it. So thanks for watching. If you watch the entire video, you are awesome. But that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.